group and I will be presenting on textual analysis on translation of poem. So our group has chosen a poem written by Usman Awang, which entitled Salam, Benua, and being translated by Haji Muhammad Saleh from Malay language to English language. This poem is about political and ethnic boundaries that Usman Awang has written in order to respond to a common humanity. Moving on to the reason why this poem has been translated is due to Usman Awang's popularity. Since Usman Awang is very well known and considered as the best Malay language poet, many people admired and translated his work, including Haji Muhammad Saleh. Moving on to the next presenter.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So now we will see the textual analysis of the translation in the poem Greetings to the Continent. In translating the source text into the target text, it can be identified that the translator, which is Haji Muhammad Saleh, has been using 4 types of translation procedures, which are literal translation, transposition, adaptation, and equivalence. So, literal translation falls under the direct translation procedure. Meanwhile, the other 3 comes under the oblique translation procedure. And the first translation procedure is literal translation. Literal translation refers to the direct transfer of the source text into a grammatically and idiomatically appropriate language of target text. And these are the examples that we have found in the poem that use this kind of literal translation. As we can see from the first example, the source text is mereka memisahkan kita, the target text, they separate us. We can see that the translation was done word by word, and there was no addition or reduction involved in this translation. Same goes to the second example. Mereka merompak kita dengan undang-undangnya, they rob us with their laws. And from this example, we can see that the translator did not do any addition or moving words from the source text. And as the result, the original meaning of the message in the sentence can be written by the translator. And moving on to the next translation procedure, which is transposition. Transposition method involves the act of replacing words from one grammatical word class into another without changing the original meaning of the message. So in the case of Greetings to the Continent poem, the examples of transposition method can be seen as these examples. The first one, the source text, peluru dikirimkan dalam bungkusan dolarnya, has been translated into target text, sending bullets wrapped in dollars. We can see that the word dikirimkan was translated into sending, whereby the sentence structure has been changed from active voice to the was shifted from passive voice into the active voice. However, the translator still preserved the original meaning of the text, exactly from the source text. And same goes to the second example. Kita dipaksa memilih was translated into forcing us to choose. The sentence structure was changed by the translator from passive voice into active voice, just like the first example. So now let us move on to the next translation procedure.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So I will continue with the next translation procedure, which is adaptation. It refers to the situation in source text that is not familiar in target text, and it will be translated by using the same circumstances, only by the use of different stylistic means. For example, in source text, petani-petani has been translated into peasants. Peasants refers to the poor country where the agricultural laborer live. So, the agricultural laborer has the same meaning with petani-petani. It's just that it has been explained in different stylistic means. Next is equivalence. It refers to the process where the translator replaces translation unit in target text with another similar meanings. It commonly refers to the proverbs, idiomatic expression, idioms, and also lexicalized terms. For example, the word memangkas kami, that carries the meaning of cutting off, has been translated into the idioms, like nips us in the bud. Nips us in the bud means to destroy something. So the meaning of the idioms is the same one that we can relate to memangkas kami. So the translator has translated the word memangkas into the idioms, which explains that the process of equivalence translation has been done by the translator in translating the poem.
Okay, so now let's move on to the review of the translation. So the overall assessment of the translation is good because the translator retained the original meaning of the source text. As you can see, the word petani-petani was translated into peasants. Peasants refers to a low status agricultural laborer, usually that come from very poor countries, which was a perfect match for the word petani-petani in this context of the poem. So instead of using the words farmers by directly translating it, the translator uses peasants, which is more accurate. And also, the translator used accurate and strong expressions. For example, for gadis-gadis bekerja debu pasir dandanannya, it was translated into girls' toil decorated in dust. So as you can see, he used very accurate expressions to translate the poem. Next. Okay. And also the poem carries a poetic value. For example, if you see the example, darah rakyat tertindas, the blood of the exploited. Even in the translated version, the poetic value is still maintained. And the next is, the translator used a few idioms to replace the ideas that the poet was trying to convey. For example, when the poet said memangkas kami, the translator translated it into nip us in the bud, which was an idiom, and it perfectly conveyed the meaning of memangkas kami. Next. Okay, now let's view the quality of the translation. So the quality of the translation is good because it stayed close to the poem. When we say stay close to the poem, it is in the sense of the rhythm, the rhyme, and also the structure and grammatical structure of that poem. And next, the translator also is familiar with the poet because Haji Muhammad Saleh is a Malaysian as well, and he is very familiar with Usman Awang's work and his background. Thus, Haji Muhammad Saleh is familiar with the poet and his culture and was able to translate the poem in a very accurate manner. And then the third reason why the translation had a very good quality was because Haji Muhammad Saleh used his artistic license to make clear and graceful translation. He replaced phrases by using idioms, and he used the perfect expressions. He used his artistic license to create the perfect translation. So now let's move on to the conclusion.
All in all, greetings to the continent is a good translation of Salam Benua. The translator managed to use some translation techniques in translating the text, which are literal translation, transposition, adaptation, and also equivalence. It is also good since the translator managed to preserve the original meaning of the source text. Since Haji Muhammad Saleh is also a Malay, so he knows how to translate the poem very well. This is because both of them, Usman Awang and also Haji Muhammad Saleh, have the same cultural background. Even though it is not an easy work to translate a poem from Malay language to English language, but Haji Muhammad Saleh has successfully translated it in a good manner since he has mastered the language very well. Plus, he also managed to use accurate vocabularies and phrases in order to deliver the poet's intention. So that's all from us. Thank you.